Hello everyone again. Seeing as the last episode was so popular, I thought I'd do another one on how to play 1v1s. Again, a little bit of a disclaimer, I'm still quite mechanically new to this style of play. I'm getting there, and you'll notice during this game there'll be a few little whiffs. I'll point them out as things not to do, but for the most part I did some quite clever stuff that will hopefully help you out in 1v1. So let's get going. We're going to race through... Ooh, not that button. This one. There we go. Right, so as always, looking over for the first one, just see if they're coming and I go in sideways. So off the start here, I push up, thinking I might be able to get something. I see he's going back and misses that boost, so I'll utilise that boost. He's gone back to goal, so I'm going to try and do something clever here. Didn't quite get on top of my car enough, but you see I recovered quite well. So during that play, I was always fairly safe. He was never going to be able to score from my shot. So if we go back... Once I picked up this boost here, and it doesn't seem like it was there that second time, I knew he was in goal. I was trying to get it on top of my car and try and flick it over him. But I just misjudged where it was on top of my car, and so I managed to flick it too low. But if I got it on top, I could have flicked it over him and it would have been quite a nice little goal. As you see there, I used the twist button, which is X on default. I use LB. Highly recommend you look into changing your controls because it allows you to do stuff like that, boosting away whilst twisting in the air. And so what I did there is I used a little bit of boost to recover and went through the middle to collect as much boost as possible, which is actually quite difficult in this level because there's not a centre line the whole way, so sometimes you can miss it. But I got it for the most part and went in on the challenge there because I saw he'd lost control of it on top of his car, and it meant that I could tackle him. So again, going through the middle, missed that boost because of the fact it's not as easy through the middle there. And as soon as that point there where he lost control, he couldn't flick it over me, so I could just fling my car in and get quite good coverage. So again, trying to get on top of my car, but it didn't quite work out. So I just go get the boost, reset, and go in for a challenge again, because I knew that he couldn't score again. If I flung myself across, I was going to hit it if he didn't hit it, or if he did hit it. And he had so much momentum going, he was never going to miss it deliberately. And if he did, he would be going flying anyway. So again, go collect boost in a safe position. He didn't collect boost there, I see, so I know he's not got much boost to play with. And he's playing around with the ball, and he does the thing called the Dominus Flick, which is a very cheeky little manoeuvre that you can't do with many other cars. We'll have a look at that in a bit, and he actually scores. So that was a good goal by him. So he's here, not much boost, I knew that, so I was pushing out, trying challenging him. And he didn't need much boost because the Dominus Flick allows you to produce a lot of power with a forward flip without actually needing any boost, unlike me with the Octane, I can't do that. So that's a good goal by him. I now know he's got good dribble mechanics, so I've got to watch for that for the rest of the game. Okay, so we off we go again. Go inside. Well, I went in forward this time because I saw he was coming in at a very straight angle, and I could just block it. So if we go back and do that again, if you see, I saw him coming in very straight there through his nameplate, and so I just came in at a middle height, so I could just block the ball, and then as you're about to hit the ball, you flip into it, and this gives you control as you land. And it meant I could get away and get some boost quite easily. Unfortunately, he gets back in time. I went via the boosts, as I told you to do. Going through the boost after a kickoff can often allow you to get enough boost just to beat them, but he gets back and defends it very well. But it puts him out of the game, and so I just send it towards my own goal, collect the boost, and keep control of the ball here. So I've still got control, I've got another boost, and there, what happened was he carried on to the ball despite not having boost, because I stole that boost there. Unless he went to my corner, which he didn't have any boost. So he's tracked through the middle. I know he hasn't got much boost. I collect this one. Look at him. He's not boosting anywhere. And so I know that he can't get around that ball quick enough. And so I go in for a high challenge. And because of his flat car, it means I can send it back towards his end and have full boost, which means he can't catch up. I hope that makes sense to you. I might be going a bit fast this time, but it's because we've got a lot to go through. So again, I turn off ball cam. I've told you about this before. And just looked at the ball hitting the floor, and then I knew I could time it because it was probably going in anyway, but it's just to make sure in case he comes in and tackles. Right, so he's coming in from that slightly side on angle. You might not think this is me actually manipulating him, but if you see, he drives around the ball quite a lot here. So I come in from a straight on angle, tilt my car just beforehand, and push into it the same angle he's coming in as. And that means I land perfectly because I did the side flip. Look at him, he hasn't landed yet, he's just landed there. And I'm already at the boost and with control on the ball. So that's where that comes in very useful. And now I've got a bit of boost, which he probably knows. And what you're about to see is a prime example of faking. So let's look at this, because this is a new skill that you might not have seen before. So earlier on I've seen he follows the ball with me as and when I go for it. So there's a tutorial Kronovi's done on his channel about this. There's level 1, which is where you push it around them and it beats them. There's level 2 where they predict you pushing it around them, so they hit it on the prediction. And then there's level 3, which is this, which is where you fake it. And so what I did there, we'll go back. So I've got control coming up here. I've got that 1 boost, that's all I've got. It's about 12 boost. I'm pushing it out to the side there, and I did a little bit of boost, which made him think I was going to go for it quick and try and push it into that far corner, and moved my car towards it, and then just drove away. And he flung his car across as a reaction save, as if I was hitting it into that corner, and then it meant I could just put it straight in. So think about doing that in a game sometimes. It doesn't always work, but if you've noticed them going for the ball a lot previously, then they'll often fall for fakes. So that one popped out quite nicely, allowed me to get to the boost, and heading back to goal. I go via that boost just to get me up to full. And what happened there is I had 2 options in defence. So I'd picked up my boost. I knew he could either send it to the far side as fast as he could, or he'd try flicking it over me. Okay, so I push forward very fast and jump up as if he's going to go for the far side, and then I see his car drive around to the left side of it, which means he's going to try and dribble it round behind me with the intention that I'm flying miles over there. So then what happens is I just stop, take all the speed out of my car with the spin I did, and that allowed me just to take it off the top of his car. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you don't have to do it every single time. There I was just trying to move it back round again, but it didn't quite work out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pull out, get boost, and let him have it again, because I probably could have got it, but it's risky to sit in front of their goal with no boost. Especially if he went over towards the boost and collected boost, he could just counter me completely. So that's why I did that. I saw he was never going to get there first, so if we go back, so he's hit it across. Okay, I'm speaking quite fast, I'll try and slow it down here for you. So I'm going in towards the ball. See how I've got forward momentum and he's not got much at all? I knew that I could get there first, so he pulls out knowing that I'm going to get there first. And at this point, I know that he's going to be having to turn around at some point to get the ball, so I know he's going to be quite an easy target to hit, and it allowed me just to demo him, because I knew that the ball was going to be going towards the goal nicely for me, just to finish off. I got loads of time just to finish it off like that. And if you look at this point here, if we just fly in, if we just look here, he's got no chance of getting back to me. Okay. Right, back to normal speed. So always look to demo the goalie if the ball is rolling around the corner like that. And the worst thing that happens is you miss them, keep your momentum going, and follow through, go back to defence. He was never going to be able to turn and shoot on me that quickly, so I just did that. Here I was trying to just get to the goal side of it and push it away, and it was just one of those unfortunate circumstances where I just mishit it, allowing him to have a shot on goal. Not much you can do about that. Hey, let's just go back and look at it again. So here he sent it round quite nicely. I went up to try and block it. I didn't have a very good aerial, and which meant he could just squeeze it into that closer corner. Looking over the top, as always, and we'll move in. Now that pinches out in quite a scary way, so I just go in and make sure he doesn't get a shot off. So originally I went for the angle of his shot, that if he got it on target there, and then followed through with a flip as a reaction because I knew that he'd hit it too far. Again, tried to bump him just in case, and he lost control, so I took control of it back. And so here we just continue. I've got 100 boost here, I seem to remember, and so I was just keeping close to the ball, making sure I had full control. That was a risky turn there, because I turned blindly in front of his goal here. I didn't know where he was. He could have very easily carried on straight and completely got away with that, but he was greedy and went for goal, and it allowed me to jump up and block it. So that was bad play by him. I go for another demo. Unfortunately the ball is in a good position to score. I was trying to hit that off the wall, send it around the corner so I could catch him sleeping, but that didn't work. Retreat to goal, stealing boost as I go. I know he hasn't got much boost at all because he used it all from his spawn point. And so what you're seeing here is a prime example of boost starving. So I've taken every boost he's been near, so I know he's only got little boosts off the ground and he's been using them every time he's got them. So I did a little bit of a pinch across, So I sent it into that corner, stole the boost, because that was my main goal there. Did a bit of a wall pinch there to try and send it to the far side. Collected boost. Now, as long as he hasn't gone back, which I can see he hasn't, to one of those boosts and collect it, he's gone right back to goal, and it means I've got an opportunity now to try and manipulate him. And so I tried pushing it round him and pushing it back, but unfortunately he managed to beat me to the side hit to send it on goal, which meant he could get a shot. And so I'm tracking back, and here he's going way too fast to be able to flick it over the top. He'd lost control. So at this point here, as soon as I could, sent myself back as fast as I could, picked up that boost, and at this point here you can see that it's not on top of his car, so he can only go left and right, but the ball is moving way too fast for him to be able to do a big movement left and right. So it meant I could use my momentum to go in and make a challenge, and again go back to the boost, and here I tried doing a power hit, mishit it slightly, and again tried doing a cheeky hit off of the long power hit, and this allowed me to go back from where he was misjudged it. So you look here, he didn't think I was going to get it, I tapped it over him, meant he was now sitting outside of his... Ooh, that skid sound. Right, so you can now see he's sitting outside of his goal, so I turned off my ball cam so that I could see where he was. Okay, because I knew that he was somewhere over there, and then I, from that, went to hit him, because the ball was not in a situation where he could hit it. The ball was not in a situation where I could hit it. So therefore there is nothing either of us could do to score on the other person, but I knew that it was going to drop in front of the goal eventually. So what I did is I went for him instead, and this allowed me just to get an easy shot on target there. So there we go, that's a tip for you. If the ball is ever going towards the goal that you're trying to score in, and you know that they're sitting in a position where you could hit them, because they can't do anything, he would have had to fly up to that above the goal before it reached in front of the goal to try and save it. And so I knew that he was going to have to go for a risky shot, and it meant that I could bump him before he got there. I didn't demo him, I just hit him. You don't have to demo it every single time. Right, let's go again. So go for the side hit, pinch out to the side he's on, so I just go through the middle, try and collect the boost without the guideline on this level. Still works. And just waited for him to make a mistake. He looked a bit like he was all over the place there. Now here, I probably could have followed through with that and tried to score, but I didn't have much boost, so I was worried about that. So instead I let him deal with it, and this allowed me to try and mess up, is what I just did. So let's just go from here. So the ball, I tried pinching it round, and I saw he was back flipping there, and saw that he was in quite an uncomfortable position on that wall. So what I was going to try and do was send it high above the goal so that he couldn't get it, but instead I hit it low and it bounces just in front of him, allowing him to just essentially drive it back into my goal. And I tried everything I could to get back, but it didn't work. So there's a tip of something not to do. I'm up by 2 goals. There is no need for me to try and do anything fancy here. From this point here, I should have probably just sat back a bit, let it bounce and have another go, because he would have probably fallen for something there. But instead I hit it into the back wall, meaning the ball has now got momentum towards my goal, and he is in a position where he's got very good control, so he can easily just drive into it. So never hit the ball into the back wall when you're not going to be able to get to it well in advance of them driving it through and scoring, because it's one of the easiest ways to get counted on, because he doesn't have to do much other than drive the ball the whole length of the pitch. So no backboard hits unless you're in control and about to hit it in the bit. Now here, this is a problem, this is a personal problem, this is not something you'll see very often, because I do the jump up and turn and side thing. So that point there, just before I turned right, I was meant to press jump and then press turn so that I was side on. But sometimes I get my fingers caught up and I just drive out the way, and then normally end up thinking, oh god, I've got to correct this, and then send my car flying. And that allowed him enough time just to be able to score there. So that's just a huge mechanical mishap of my kickoffs. So ignore that ever happened. So my sideways kickoff worked that time. I got a lot of power down into his side. I've seen he hasn't picked up the boost. He's up on the wall. He now has boost. So I'm backing off, seeing what he does here. Now he's trying to get on top of his car. And he does very nice little manipulation of me there. But unfortunately for him, it bounces out to the side where he wasn't. So it meant I could get back round and protect it. So again, no need to hit off the wall, we learnt that last time. And I'm just trying to control it on the ground there, but I didn't get under it. As always, I try and get under it, and then I didn't get under it. Meaning that he could just easily tackle me. Not a problem though, because it's easy to get back. Now he's doing sideways hits. So I know it's not on top of his car, which is where the Dominus is most dangerous, because they can do all sorts of flicks and stuff. So I think that's quite a good bit of play there that we should go back and look at. So you see here, I'm backtracking, I've got boost there. Did it with ball cam on because this level is very nice. There's the hedgerows that guide you directly to the ball, so you know exactly where it's going to be. And I could watch what he was up to. Now he's obviously going to start dribbling here, because we know he likes his dribbles. And he's on the side of the ball there. I know that because you can clearly see he's on the side of the ball. He's hitting it over to my left, so we line up our car with him, as we learnt last episode. Now he's going to try and hit it to the right here, but he was behind the ball, so he wasn't going to get any good sideways movement, so that meant I could challenge quite nicely. Okay, I'm just going to 50% now. So we get an upwards pinch, I go flying, line my car up so that I can land nicely, you saw that. Now he's going to have to do an aerial here to score. Okay, and as far as I know, he's not got a lot of boost. He might have enough boost to get it, but he's not going to be going right up to the top there and doing a dangerous aerial try and hit it over the top of me. And as you can see here, I go up. He now doesn't bother going up, so I'm just going to do a nice controlled aerial, hit it where he isn't, land nicely, use a bit of boost to come out of the landing, and go to the boost. So I'm now 100 boost. He hasn't got necessarily full boost, and I'm in control of this area of the field because he's now got boost, and that means that I've got to do something to stop him just driving up my line and everything. So I just stop it there, clear out using my boost, and he's now got control of the ball, which is not a problem because we are happy defending. And so we've gone back now, and we're thinking, oh goodness, he's got the ball on top of his car. So I've just got the angle of my car. So if we, I'm just going to fly here. Let me just look at the angle of my car. If we go in like this. So if we look at the angle of my car here, it's pointing across there. Now if we were to just fly normally, this angle of the car is pointing about this part of the field here, which is his line into the middle of our goal. There's no point in me pointing my car towards him at this point, because there's nothing he can do in this corner that will help him score. So he's not going to drive it over there. So I point diagonally across to intersect the line of where he's trying to score, and this will allow me to protect the goal. Now if I went back to goal, I'd have to do a straight on save, and I'd also have to be wasting time by driving all the way back to goal and blocking it. So instead I opted for the diagonal across. I've got plenty of boost, so I know I can intercept anything across here when I see him lose control. So we want to go back onto me, and we want to go into player view. So we'll watch here, he's got it on top of his car, and he's going to flick it up there. And at that point I knew that he'd thrown himself out of position. You look at him here, he can't do anything from there, he's not going to be able to manipulate it in the air, so I know I've just got to go up and save this. And so I've got the goal covered because of the diagonal angle, and I can just go up and hit it back across. So that's why I waited in that corner there, is because it meant that I could protect the goal whilst making sure that he didn't go for it. He probably thought I was coming out. Again, I waited for him to make the mistake here. So we'll go down to 50%. So I'm pointing at him, or the line between the goal and him, which is the same line essentially. Now I see him driving in from that angle, which means that he's going to try pushing it across that way. And there was slight movements in my car to line up with him. And as soon as I see him jump, that's when I know he's lost control of it. And because he was at that sideways angle, it meant that he couldn't send it through the line of me and the goal, which means I could just go and intercept it. So there, I tried to get it on top of my car because it was almost the end of the game, but unfortunately I couldn't get it there to flick it up. So it's overtime now, and we're thinking, we can, oh goodness, a bit of a cough. We can win this easily because we're in control. So I end up going backwards towards the boost just because that was convenient for me at the time. The quickest way I could get there. So I tried getting on top of my car there and flicking it over him, but I didn't have very good control of the ball, so it meant it just popped up without much control. And I tried going to collect the boost there, stop him collecting it, and then tried following through with the ball, but the flip that I originally did just didn't line up very well. So then, thankfully for us, he misses there. And because I didn't have much boost, I was just trying to be careful and cover him, because he was never going to be able to get around that ball and shoot it back at the goal. So I didn't want to fling myself at it and get blocked by him. So now he's coming in towards the goal with a little chip. Now, what are the things he can do? Because the ball is going down, he's not going to be able to get a power hit. Okay? The ball is going down, so the only way he can do anything clever here is if he times a perfect hit up through the ball, which he's way too close to it to do. As you can see, he couldn't jump up and hit that very well. So we wait until he gets that second hit off the top of his car there, and that's when we start attacking. And so I cover the flick over the top, because the Dominus is very good at that. And then I noticed he didn't go for that. So at that point I dove down with a forward flip. And so this was almost very good by him. He tried faking me out. He got it on top of his car. I went up, anticipating the flick over the top. And then, as he went for the low hit, I went down on it. So that's just a mechanical thing that over time you start to realise what that point between it going over the top of you and under you is, so that you can go either way if you need to. Okay? So I see that he's got no momentum, I've got momentum into it, so I go for the challenge, which means that he's sent away, but on the way through he bumps me, which again, I've taught you that, so he obviously knows this, that if neither of us are in a scoring position with the ball, there's no reason you can't go for the other person, especially if you're driving through them on the way back to something. So I go to the boost, seeing as he bumped me over that direction, so we've got him to thank for that. He's trying to get out on top of his car, as he always does, but instead it goes out to the side of his car, and there's no worry he can do anything in that corner. So that's why we don't cover that side. That's why we don't worry about going to tackle him on that side, because he can't do anything there. And this allowed me to jump up, clear it out, and get a good landing, so I've got full control. Fortunately I missed the follow-up hit, but where's he right now? Let's have a look. He's right behind me, as you can see. He's right behind me going towards the boost, so why not just go for a shot? And so I just went, let's go for a shot, and thankfully I just snuck it in. So we'll just go back to that from my point of view. Oh, there we go, here we go. Right, so I sent it long, send it back towards the goal a little bit, but it's a little bit mistaken, and then perfectly judge it off the wall, thankfully. And that's the end of the game. So I hope you learned some new tricks in there. Let's just go back and think about some of them. So one of the tricks was faking. If you're in a position where you can't do much, and you've noticed they're going for the ball even when you hit it way to the side of them, then sometimes you can just fake going towards it, and then they'll just hurl themselves across, especially situations like that in front of goal, where you have got a lot more control over the ball than they do. They're going to do a last dib save, and it will allow you to score. Another thing we mentioned was the covering the corner is not necessary. If they're going towards the corner, then you can let them go in there and just cover the goal with that diagonal angle across goal. And the other thing was Dominus. The Dominus has a lot of very good plays off of the top of its car. People can flip forward where they use the back of the car, and that's the Dominus flick, and that allows them to get a lot of power even with not much boost. So you just got to be careful of that, and sometimes anticipating it is the best thing to do. But if it's over to the side of the Dominus, it's often quite good to go out and take the ball off of them and timing it just when they lose control of it, as sometimes that can be the difference between you jumping in and them getting it past you. So wait for them to lose control. And other than that, just a lot of things you can keep practicing off the kickoff, going to get the little boosts on the way back to places, and yeah, just keep practicing, and eventually with the positioning and the mechanics coming through, you'll start winning lots of games. So I hope that was helpful, and next we'll be doing some how to play solo standards, so see you then. Bye bye.